I can barely even see the screen.
Nope.
Amber's not joining us today, so.
Worst.
Oh. Push the chat.
Got it. Who's got it?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy with Candles and Supplies.
I'm Christine.
Today, we are here to show you how to pack your products for shipping. So this is going to be great for everyone if you're already packing your products for shipping and some of them aren't getting there, or if you're thinking about packing your products for shipping, you've done craft shows and now you have people that you ship these out. Can you send this to my, relative all the way across the country? And you're a little worried about your fragile product making, like a 3,000-mile trip and stuff like that. So because it is extreme, I'm sure you've been on the receiving end. When your shipments arrive damaged and stuff like that, and then you're disappointed, and you don't want to do that to any of your customers. So you want to make sure to pack it really well and everything. So that's pretty much what we do here today. I like at Candles and Supplies. So we have our retail store classes, all those fun things and everything, but like 60% of what we do here is shipping out boxes all day long. So we get a tractor trailer load to pick up from UPS every day, and FedEx has a big old truck, and we fill up a full mail truck every single day and stuff like that too. So that's our main thing. So not that qualifies either. Well, both of us have worked in the shipping department, but we don't now, but we can pack a box. So anyway, so we're here to kind of share some of our tips and tricks and stuff like that with you guys so that you can pack your products safely and get them out to their destination during this holiday season. So first, well, we always tell new people when they come here, you want to pack your boxes like they're going to be drop kicked from your place to wherever it arrives to. Because once your beautiful package that you've just packaged, you send it to the carrier, guess what happens? Yeah. Or, they throw it around, or they're this or that, or they drop kick it. So I've even had UPS drivers tell me that the boxes get drop kicked off their truck before they hit the belt and everything like that too. So you want to pack this really, really sturdy. You want to make sure if they drop kick it and stuff like that, so that nothing's going to happen to your product. So that's the trick. It's kind of, this kind of reminds me of like when you're in elementary school and they tell you to pack a raw egg in something and drop it off something and it doesn't get broken.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the old thing? I remember that. I was in a 3-story elementary school and I was thinking like if I go to the top of the building and drop it off, the teacher didn't mean that. The teacher meant like drop it from like, your height up. But I was packing it like it would be dropped from a 3-story building. So I got a little overzealous about it. Maybe it was just a premonition of my future career. I don't know. But so you want to pack it like you're dropping that fragile egg and stuff like that. So first you start with a box. So you want to have really, really nice boxes. You want to pick a good box. And it's okay. Like if you have a good box at home and you want to recycle, reuse it and everything like that, that's perfectly fine. That way it doesn't end up in the, in the landfills and stuff. We love that. But you want to make sure it's a good box. So like a good sturdy box that doesn't have too many miles on it and stuff like that. Something that closes nicely, no holes in it, A lot of times there's like, you can get free boxes from like the liquor store or something like that, or beer distributors, but they always have carry holes in it, which you don't want to use that because that creates a different stress point. If it has a carry hole that folds out, and we're in our warehouse today, so if it's a little loud, they're shipping boxes. So so you want to have something with no holes in it too, so there's no extra stress points that can break your box or damage it or something like that. So this is a good example of a good box. This I would not choose for a box. So this box has lots of miles on it. Been there, done that. Like this is not going to hold up to anything. I wouldn't even ship this to the town next door because it's probably going to get destroyed by the time it gets there. So this would be a bad box. So
Living on that box.
Yeah, it's had a hard life. So we use it to hold things. It does very well with that. So one kind of cool thing is the post office will give you boxes for free. So if you ship by priority mail and stuff like that, and they're nice boxes, they're free. Some of them are even flat rate. So if you fit a certain amount of stuff in there, it's one rate, one include everything. So they also have padded envelopes too, which are very good for, documents, different things like that, labels, whatever you're selling. I wouldn't send a candle this way just because there's not enough packing. But
your soap that way, though.
Yeah, you could send soap bars this way or something like that. So, but the boxes are good value because they're brand new and they're free. Can't beat that. So that's pretty awesome. So it all starts with a good box, right? Yeah.
Forget about packing material.
Yeah, so let's do packing material next. You can do that since it's over there. Now you want to pack your baby tight. You know what? I'm going to get this box. Let's pack this box like
All right.
it's going to like a different country. So, yeah, it's going a far, far journey.
What do we put it in there?
Candles. New
Okay.
candles.
Hey, we got a lot of candles.
Yeah.
So I'm all up.
Some lucky person is going to get this beautiful box of candles that we previously burned. No,
It's true. No, I did.
yeah.
They're my candles that I take for pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
You always want to tape it, make sure your taping job's secure. If it's a real heavy box, you tape this way and you'll tape this way. It doesn't blow apart. A good shipping tape is super, super important. You don't want to use Scotch tape or anything like that. You want to make sure there's no like flaps or edges or anything when you tape up your box that are sticking out, because that'll get caught on one of their conveyors. It'll get ripped open. Your stuff's everywhere. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight and stuff like that. When you do tape stuff, make sure your tape is laid flat against there, because if it's hanging off, then it's going to get peeled off somewhere as the box is like rubbed together and shipping. All right. So next is packing material.
All right. Bubbles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us what kind of bubbles.
I mean, these are like medium-sized bubbles.
Yeah.
So there's
all
different sizes. This is
Mm-hmm.
a bigger bubble. And we have the little bubbles. That's not a bigger bubble.
Mhm.
All different size bubbles. Depending on what you're packing or how you're packing, you use different
Yeah.
things.
So different things will get different packing material. So
Right.
like
So like
these would be good for candles and stuff, right?
right. And this is like you don't want to. I mean, this isn't gonna do too much. Be putting it in a box by itself, but this is great to be able to wrap your candle in.
Right.
So it's the bubbles on the inside. That's
It's
right.
like a bubbly, pillowy blanket.
Yeah. So then he
Aw.
has some extra cushion in case he gets dropped or whatever, and then other stuff inside the box as well, obviously.
And after you wrap it, you want to tape it up. Are you gonna ship
oh,
that? Yeah. You're gonna
okay.
ship that,
All
right?
right, it's happening. All right, I wasn't ready. I was like, not doing this too great. Just like, okay. Probably not.
So wrap it nicely. Keep in mind, this is kind of like, a sales thing for when your customers get the products too. If they get a box with like lots of messy stuff in there, they're going to kind of feel like their product was like in a messy situation. So pack it nice, make it look pretty. This candle looks like a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, clean it side on both sides. Yeah, I want all these tape.
Sometimes, I mean, I believe we tend to overpack here. I hate when customers get damaged packages. It drives me nuts. So we tend to overpack here and use a lot. And we have gotten comments like, why is everything wrapped in bubble wrap? Why is this? Why is it so
Because-
tight?
That was a real test. We'll see now.
Wow, did you used to work for UPS or something?
It didn't go up. Cement floors.
And
So this candle is damaged because he was on his box with other packing material before he hit the floor.
right.
Just
So
back
you
to
need
the
you need more than just bubble
right,
wrap.
just bubble wrap is not going to do it because
That was a great
glass shards.
that was a great demonstration.
This is not it. Not just by itself.
So that's just
I'm
not
just
enough
gonna
by
leave this
itself.
pack because
Yeah.
otherwise we're gonna have glass everywhere.
Yeah. All right. So on to candle 2.
Are you sure you want me to do this again?
Yeah,
I only have a
So-
little bit of bubble now. I guess I can use some medium.
that's okay. So we know that maybe this one wasn't sturdy enough for that big heavy candle.
For the big, or the fall. For that
So this
matter.
is where the medium bubble, the bigger bubbles have a little more cushioning to them, so they might come in really handy. I suggest using the bigger bubbles. But
I'm not gonna drop this one too, though.
Don't drop
I wanna
that one.
test it. It doesn't have his box yet. You know, they're a lot sturdier when they drop them in a box already.
correct, yeah.
I think it's an awkward size.
There you go. When in doubt, put more on than what's needed. So
All right. This is obviously I haven't packed in a while, if you can tell. I'm not very proficient at this.
I'm the worst at packing boxes, so they kick me out of the packing area. I can ship, I can pick, I can do all
I'm
those
really good at
things.
shipping,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Packing,
Packing, not so much.
not one of
All
my
right.
talents.
I need some tape.
All right. So we're gonna tape this up. Oh, that's much sturdier. Much sturdier.
I didn't expect a bounce back. Not
Yeah.
expecting a bounce back.
You got to show them what not to do.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't enough.
Don't
packing.
drop your candles while you're packing them.
Right. This is much sturdier though. Much sturdier. Much better for a heavier product. So that would be good for like soap or air fresheners or something like that. So
I still think he's fine as long as there's other packed material in the box. The fact is, he's put in the box.
put them in yet.
Right, don't put them in.
So now we have this beautiful box. We have this beautiful candle, right? We want to put it in. You want to have a cushion on the bottom, right? Because any side of where it's exposed to the extreme shipping is gonna have impact. So first thing what we want to do on the bottom is put a layer of bubbles again, even though we packed it in bubbles.
Big bubbles, not little bubbles.
Right.
Little
Little
bubbles
bit bigger
don't do that
bubbles, or you can use
Clearly.
cardboard or this or that. But I like bubbles on the bottom because they're like an airbag. It's like an airbag for your product. So we just line the box with the bubbles.
And they went up the side a little bit too.
Yeah,
which is
it goes
good.
up the side. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's a bubble blanket, and then you're gonna put your product in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Handle X. Yep. So
Nice
that
and
fits in
tall.
there. But then there's still a problem. So when we ship boxes out, we want them to be nice and tight. If we just close this up,
Make sure you can see. Yeah. So as you can see, there's still room in the box, so
There's
it
void.
still moves. You don't
Yeah.
want that.
yeah. And how you can test that. So if you close the box, if you think that's good enough, you wrapped it in bubble wrap, you have the bubble wrap on the bottom, close the box up and shake it. It's kind of tight. But if you feel it clunk, if you feel it, move around at all, any kind of clunking, any movement, anything, you want to open it back up and fill your voids. So voids are like any space around the box, around your product and around the box in there. And you can use different things for this. So, there's like, this is really, it's shredded, but not shredded. So there's cardboard.
Shredded cardboard
You can
material.
use more bubble wrap. You can use paper. You just want it to be
Paper.
nice and tight. So we have
What do you want to do?
paper.
Paper?
We're going to do them all. So if you're using paper, you want to roll it up towards, not I guess, yeah.
Ball
pretty
it,
tight.
ball it.
Yeah. You want to ball it where it's nice and, we'll call it balling, where it's nice and tight. So this isn't going to move that way. And then if we use,
Yeah.
use another one, flaps. We use another one just to get around the other corners. If there's any excess, you can tear it. I didn't need that. Okay. And then we'll put another piece of bubble wrap on top, just for extra cushion.
The thin bubble wrap.
Any bubble wrap. There's only room for the thin bubble wrap here, so I'm using the thin. And we're going to close the flaps. And then we'll take the box up. Again, I like to do a double, the crisscross method.
Yeah.
That way the box can't blow apart. So like if it's, and this one, if you look at it, there's a corner kind of sticking out. Oh, you can't see that. I don't know how to turn it. There is a corner sticking out where the box seam kind of just wanted to not be real sturdy. If you see any of that, anything that looks a little bit fragile at
where
all.
the box comes together, so like as they building it, there's a seam here. So that seam that can come undone. That happens in
Sometimes
especially
the glue's-
heavier boxes.
Yeah, the glue's not so good, so you want to reinforce the seams. Just put a little extra piece of tape over there, kind of like a box Band-Aid. And that's nice and tight. It's not moving around at all.
Should I
This is
drop
gonna
that
be
one
fine.
too?
Drop it, see what happens. It bounces.
It
Drop
did
it on the
bounce.
table. That's fine. So it's airbags in there. There's so many airbags it bounces. But you wanted to do that, like when people drop it. If you're shipping heavier things, it gets a bit more challenging. If you drop it, that's probably not a good thing. But still, you want enough airbag material in there to where it's going to bounce. It has a little bit, of a shock absorption to it rather than just like boom. That's not good.
Yeah, like the
Anytime there's
candle. That was not good.
Yeah, the candle with just a little bit of bubble wrap, too much dead weight, just bam, right on the ground and stuff like that. So, and then when you're putting your label on there, you can print labels out and put them on there. But sometimes we find, especially during the winter time, sometimes the label, just from the cold weather or whatever, you mail your package, it goes into a truck, it stays into a truck for a while. Packages are rubbing together. The label rubs off. Your package never makes it. It's kind of like MIA. You don't know where it is. UPS doesn't know whose it is because there's nothing on there. I usually put an extra piece of clear tape right over top of the label. That way, you know, it would really have to get destroyed for them to not know whose it is if they decide to crush it or whatever. But just a piece of clear tape over your label. If you're printing your labels out on paper and sending them on paper, I don't happen to have paper here, but make sure that all of the corners of the paper are covered too. Don't leave any flaps to get caught on anything and ripped off. So literally UPS and any carrier does hundreds of thousands of packages during a day. So your package is not gonna, it's gonna be claustrophobic in with all the other packages rubbing against it, going down conveyors and stuff like that. It's got a heck of a travel ahead of it. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight. Everything's sealed, you know, that type of thing. We've even had boxes, you know, sometimes, you know, our shippers will tape and leave a little bit of tape there. Well, all of a sudden the tape gets caught on another package. It gets ripped off. The box gets destroyed and stuff like that. So you don't want to have any of that. You want it to be nice and tight and everything. So that way it gets there really nice. So, and then when the customer gets it, this should keep its shape. It should be just as beautiful as the day you sent it. Even if it is crushed a little, we've had people that are like, oh my God, my box just arrived and it's like super crushed and stuff like that. And I need a replacement. We're like, well, did you open it? I'm like, oh, well, no, it's destroyed. And they'll actually open it. We've had so much packing in there that the product actually survives. And they're like, oh, I can't even believe it that nothing is broken in here. But yeah, thanks. So
you need to pack a box really, really well. And sometimes stuff still does happen.
It does. But, yeah. I mean, if it gets run over by the truck, like nothing's going to survive that.
Happens.
You can't pack that for.
What was the one that was like, or something that like fell into the ocean? That was like.
Oh yeah, we've had some weird
like
things on planes. Yeah, we've had like tractor trailers flip over. You know, like trailer
highway type of thing.
Yeah,
like,
if the tractor trailer falls, you know, rolls over with your package in there, you're probably not going to be able to pack it for that. So yeah. That's always get the insurance on it too. So it's not that much per package and stuff like that. So, but it always seems a lot. If you don't get that insurance and you're shipping out, you know, 10, 15, 20 boxes a day, and you're like, wow, I can save like 35 bucks just in insurance. You know, I'll take the risk. I'm a gambling person. But if you have, you know, $100 worth of material that got destroyed, you know, and you have it a couple days or whatever, you theoretically shouldn't have it a couple days in a row. But if you don't get the insurance on it and stuff like that, you know, the few $100s seems like a lot at that point. That hurts a lot. So rather than just, you know, the 35-cent ding each time, and you know, you get dinged for the insurance on it. So we always get the package insurance and stuff like that. So that way it's insured. If your customer, you know, doesn't get it or whatever, you know, you can place a claim on it, send them a replacement, everything's good and stuff like that. So get the insurance on it because you need it from one time or another. We mainly use, well, we use lots of different carriers, but anything that's not going out on a pallet, like all small packages, we use UPS. We find them to be the most reliable, not always the cheapest. So for packages 10 pounds or less, probably Priority Mail's better. They do a very good job at flat rates and 10 pounds or less and the envelopes and stuff like that. They do a very, very, very good job at that. But anything over 10 pounds, it's going to be less expensive to send it by UPS. UPS has an online calculator too, so you can go to their site and just type in, you know, your zip code and then their zip code, and it'll calculate a price and time to get there too. So anything 10 pounds and over would be like UPS or FedEx.
Yeah, Post Office doesn't guarantee delivery times either. So
they do not. Yeah.
I know everybody I think experienced last holiday season where packages were taking like a month sometimes through the Post Office. You also take that into account too. So sometimes it might be worth paying a little bit extra for UPS or something. Correct. Where they might only be a day or two behind or on time, whereas the Post Office, who knows. So.
And the most clever marketing in the whole entire earth, Priority Mail. Priority Mail. So yeah, we get people like, oh, I paid for priority service and this and that. It was like last year when the Post Office was behind like 6 weeks. I paid for priority service, and no, you paid for Priority Mail, and it's not a priority for them right now because they're not getting there. Would you like UPS? They're more reliable. So FedEx is good too, especially in some locations. So
it seems to vary by area depending on. Some people have better luck with FedEx, some people have better luck with UPS.
Right, exactly. So we do all three based on, you get to choose when you place your orders. We do all three. So if your products are on a site, you know, like Shopify or, you know, BigCommerce or whatever, if you have your own website, you can probably pick your carriers too. So really would depend. Like you're probably, if you don't get a daily pickup, if you don't have an account and you don't get a daily pickup, like you're taking it to wherever it is. So probably the most convenient. Yeah. So there's UPS stores all over the place. I think Staples takes FedEx packages and stuff too, FedEx or UPS if you're shipping them out. So post office, you can bring them there. So ideally, it's nice to have them picked up, but they do charge for that service for the pickup and stuff like that. So if you don't use it, you're paying for it anyway. So that type of thing. So I hope this was helpful. Let's go over and see if anybody has any questions. I see lots of comments
in here.
Thanks for joining us today.
Probably
too.
people laughing at me for dropping the candle.
Yeah.
Hello.
Who joined
That's
us
me,
today?
all thumbs. Tammy May.
Hi, Tammy.
Kathy Godshaw.
Hi, Kathy.
Connie.
Connie, you made it back. She was stressing.
Paula Mitchell.
Paula, hi, Paula.
And Deborah Stewart.
Deborah, good.
As a former shipping supervisor, this is awesome. You two are so sweet. It's so refreshing to be able to learn something useful from real people who truly want to share their knowledge. God bless you and thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Deborah.
Nice. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. That was nice. So we get a lot of questions on this all the time. We've actually had requests to do like a class on packing and stuff. So I don't feel like it really warrants doing a class. You just want to make sure it's tight. You can watch this video. Like you can click on this later, watch the video and stuff
Laugh
like
at me
that.
again.
So, laugh at Christine again. Put that in the comments. Christine, you're so funny.
Yeah, I meant to do that just show.
A little bit about Christine. You'd never know it by her coordination skills handling candles, but she's like an expert horseback rider. So yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Hand-eye is different there, all different types of things. So I tell my fiance never throw things at me because I can't catch anything.
Yeah.
Like, do not do it. I move out of the way so it doesn't hit me.
Yeah.
So
I guess that was a fumble.
Yeah, that was one of those things. Where
As a candle fumble.
Well, it wasn't really my fault. It bounced, and then I just
didn't
have fast enough reflexes to catch it.
True.
So
one thing we didn't get into really is packing multiple products. So let's go over that a little bit. So theoretically, if you have 2 candles in your box, right? If you don't wrap each one individually, they're going to do this and clank together. You want to make sure that nothing is claustrophobic. I always think of it as claustrophobic. You don't want things together too much or they're going to break apart. You know what I mean? They're going to break each other. So these guys would fight in shipment and they might break by the time they get there. So you don't want to do that. So you want to wrap each one of these in bubble wrap and stuff like that too. So you can probably
finding a box.
Unpack the other one. And something with fragile glass on the side, I would not use like the bubble wrap. If it's something like wax melts that are already in a plastic container, they're kind of designed to get broken anyway. You could use the thin bubble wrap. See, if you use that thin bubble wrap on these, nothing bad would happen.
That's true.
You could use the thin bubble wrap. You could put them each in an envelope or something like that. You could put the set of 3 tight. You just want to make sure everything's tight and doesn't move around. So any type of movement or anything is bad. So you want to make sure. All right.
Let's do our next box so we can pack some
Sounds
candles.
good. Well, let's pack all this stuff except for the broken one.
We don't want to.
We want to do the broken one. So yeah. All right. So we are going to do this one. And this is one of the post office's flat rate boxes.
Medium flat rate.
We're using these not because the post office is paying us. I wish they would, but they're not paying us to do this.
They're just easy and convenient. We don't have that many smaller boxes here. So usually smaller boxes.
So we find our customers do a lot of this. So, they do a lot of priority mail packaging.
Got a lot of room.
And stuff
Can
like
I get
that.
you some more candles?
So that's good. Like we'll unpack that one and put that one in there too. We're going to send a few different things. So this one's actually one of their medium flat rate boxes. And I think this is like $16 to ship or something like that, somewhere around there. Don't quote me on prices. So the post office likes to change frequently, so it's a little hard to keep up with what they're doing. So, all right.
Also, when you're packing these things out, think about this as we're doing this. People might open with a knife or other type of thing, so you don't want to pack anything too sensitive right at the top of it in case if they make it with a knife.
If you enclose a thank you card or whatever on top, keep in mind there's probably going to be a knife that gets slashed right through it.
Right, so we had the bubble wrap here, so that was a good cushion, so you want it right down further.
Correct, yeah.
Oh yeah, we can check on this candle now since we dropped it on the ground.
Looks
good.
It bounced. All right, put it down before you drop it.
I know, right?
No, it would survive anyway. So let's get that bubble wrap on the bottom in there. We're not using that box anyway. So again, we're going to line the bottom of the box with the bubble wrap. All right, gives everything a nice cushion on the bottom.
I thought I had another bubble wrap. Did I not?
And this is something that I don't know why. This is one of the mysteries of the world that has eluded me. But if you ship a candle up, or a glass jar or anything, if you ship it up, it lasts a lot better than if you pack it sideways like that. Like in this box, it's going to be much easier to pack it sideways. And it's going to be pretty loose, so we can actually do that. But if you're doing a whole bunch of them, or you have like a whole case of jars that you're packing, don't put them sideways. They break. I don't know why. Maybe because they keep the box right up and down, most of the journey.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that.
Not only that, but like in the summertime, not that much now, it could melt.
It could melt. So think about that with your product in it and stuff like that. It could melt and ooze out. So you don't want to do that. So
everything upright.
But yeah, so keep everything upright in there. This one's packed a little too heavy on the bottom to do that with. So we're just going to scooch that over a bit. We'll just scooch that over. That way it's nice and flat on the top there. And then let's wrap these up. We're not going to use the thin bubble wrap though, because
I don't have no more bubble wrap.
I think it fell off.
I used it all on my bad candle.
Mm.
Do you want to do this over with some more bubble wrap?
Okay.
Oh, there's the other big one.
No,
it's a big one.
So I'm going to pack all 3 of these. I'll just put these in, a sheet of bubble wrap. That way they can hang out together. They're not going to damage each other or anything like that, but that way they're packed and separate in the box. It looks nice for the customer. All right. So we can put these together, and we'll put this in the box on that side. And then pack one more once Christine finds that. So in this box here, already I have a lot of void on these sides, so I can void fill them right away because I know nothing else is going in there. You always want to make sure to fill your voids. And think about like anything you get, anything you get from any kind of shipment or something like that. You can just save the packing and reuse it and stuff like that. On the side, I have a bit of void on this side too, so I'm going to do that. Just put a little bit in there, crunch it up, make sure it's nice and padded all around. And we're only going to be able to fit one candle, so I'm just going to pack this before Christine gets back because she's taking too much time. So, all right, we'll put this again in its own pillowy layer. I don't think we're going to have room in this box for both of those candles.
Okay.
Now
you take the big candle out.
Bring it around for nothing. Yeah, sure. It's packed so nicely right now, though. Again, we pack all this up, and then we're going to put it in here. And this fills most of our void space.
These are big bubbles too.
These are very big bubbles.
You probably want some smaller bubbles.
So, and the big thing, like when you think about packing your stuff and everything, a lot of times if you just see your product on the table, you'll be like, I can get all that in there. But by the time you wrap everything, bubble wrap it, get all your packing in there, you're not going to be able to fit as much into the box as what you think it is. So, you want to be as efficient as possible. Like the bubble wrap's expensive, especially with how plastic is going. Like each one of these is like 25 cents, no joke. So I've been crying when I get our packing material bills lately. So, but it's super, super important. It's still cheaper than having a disappointed customer or a broken shipment or something like that. So, so now we have a little bit of void. So this fills up the entire box, maybe a little bit too much. We have a little bit of void right here. So in that case, again, we can use the paper. We can use some shredded cardboard, whatever works to get the box tight. So we want it to be tight.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah, this is pretty tight. This box is a little pregnant. I don't typically like pregnant boxes, but tape it up to when that looks good.
Okay. That was the best. Yeah.
Again, this is nice and tight. It's not doing anything. So.
Nope. Enough candle for the candle.
Drop that, and again, it bounces. It's good. So I have full confidence that this will make it to wherever it's going. So, yeah. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Wrap everything up. Just think about like you're packing it up and you're just putting a blanket around it, keeping it as safe as possible. Airbags, airbag safety. So, and keep them nice and tight. Make sure to get things out earlier. Account on the carriers being a little bit late. We've seen it; they're doing pretty good so far. We're not seeing too many delayed shipments or anything like that. But as we get closer, especially after Black Friday,
end of this month, next month is when
if it typically takes 1 to 2 days to get somewhere, it's probably going to be 3 to 4 days, etc. So you want to give a little extra time when you're mailing it too. So it's just not like a heart attack. Like, okay, it says UPS says 1 day, but it's it has to be there. So don't do that to yourself. Make sure to give it plenty of time. You can under promise, over deliver. So tell the customer, it might take, we're in the holiday season. It might take 3 to 4 days. If they get it in 2 to 3 days, they're going to be super happy. If you tell them 1 to 2 days and they get it in 3 to 4 days, they're not going to be happy. So account for a few extra days in there too, just to give the carriers a break. They're doing a lot of stuff. So
a lot of people like to put you need to order by or whatever to have it before Christmas. So you want to give yourself
that's a good thing too. Yeah. So have some order by this date in order to get it for Christmas. So
it's not right, especially if you need to make something too, and it's not something you have in stock, so you have a little bit extra time.
True.
So I know I was ordering something the other day, and their date had already passed. It was like October 21st to get it in time for Christmas. I mean, it was a handmade item, so but still.
Ooh, is it for me?
It is for you.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's not coming to the end of January because I didn't find it till after that date.
I
know.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yep.
it is what it is.
Sounds good. So, alrighty, everybody. So, it'll be good. So that's your half-hour packing lesson. So,
Let us know in the comments if you have any questions or anything else.
Yeah. Any questions, comments, anything you want to see in the future, put in there and everything. Christina will look at them and answer you and everything. So, And this was good. Good luck shipping your stuff. If you haven't yet, email us, call us, whatever. So we're here for you. Thanks for coming today.
Well, I'll do a little wave part. Yeah. Off.
Christine's waving.